Hey students, today we're going to talk about John Stuart Mill and his theory of connotation and denotation. Jumping right in, uh, so Mill distinguishes between different kinds of names, what we now call terms, and he distinguishes between singular and general names in his sort of famous article. Um, and we might think of singular names as names like Socrates or the professor of Phil 100C, and general names as terms like student or plumber. Uh, Among the kinds of singular terms, Mill distinguishes between two different types, right? So we have proper names, names like Socrates and Nathan Salmon, are definite descriptions like the professor of 100C or the teacher of Aristotle, or Plato, I mean. And what's the sort of supposed difference between these two different kinds of names? Well, for Mill, the idea is that there's a distinction between the connotation and the denotation. So when it comes to ways of designating individuals, there are two ways to designate the same thing. You can say the name of the thing, so Sir Walter Scott, or you can describe the thing in some way, the author of Waverley, right? So the interesting thing that Mill sort of figures out and points to is that there are two different kinds of semantic value. The denotation, the thing designated of a term, so a term has a denotation, and the connotation. The connotation being some sort of conceptual representation of the term. And remember, it's not an idea, not like the Lockean theory, it's a concept. So what is a connotation? Well, for Mill, it's the semantic value of something, at least in this case, of definite description, or also a general term. And one way of thinking about it is as the property shared by the individuals a general term denotes, or the property of the singular individual that a singular term denotes, a singular term that is a definite description. So, as an example, being a student is the property shared by all of the individuals within the denotation of the term student, which is the class of students. A connotation is a phrase that has a connotation denotes via the connotation. So when it comes to particular singular terms like definite descriptions, take the definite description, the author of Waverley. The author of Waverley connotes the property of being the only individual to have written the Waverley novel, and so that's its connotation, and it denotes Sir Walter Scott by connoting the property that Sir Walter Scott has. It represents him in a particular way by giving a conceptual representation of him that he fits, right? So he fits the concept. He's the thing that's sort of picked out by it. So the connotation is the information contained in an expression that descriptively characterizes the thing denoted by the expression. So this is a complex relation between the expression itself and the individual picked out by the expression and a property or concept of the individual. And we may call this the characteristic property of the thing or set of things referred to by the expression. Right? So in the case of student, we've got the set of students is the denotation, and the property of being a student is the connotation. In the case of Sir Walter Scott, we've got the author of Waverley is the expression, and it picks out Sir Walter Scott by means of the concept being the only author of the Waverley novel. Here's another example. So we've got the word or the phrase human being, and the phrase human being has the same denotation as both the phrase rational animal and featherless biped. And you can think about this way. Collect all the featherless bipeds together. Then collect all the rational animals together. It'll turn out that it's the same set. You'll have collected all human beings together. But what's the difference between the two phrases, featherless biped and rational animal? Well, it's the connotation, right? The rational animal has the connotation. It connotes the property of being an animal that can reason. Whereas featherless biped has a different connotation, the connotation of being bipedal, having two feet and lacking feathers. And plausibly, the term human being, though it denotes the same set as both of these other phrases, shares only its connotation with rational animal and not featherless biped. Right? The word human being, or the phrase human being, doesn't mean the same thing as featherless biped, but plausibly, if Aristotle can be trusted, it does mean the same thing as rational animal. Now, remember back, we distinguished earlier between two different kinds of name, two different kinds of singular term, right? Proper names and definite descriptions. The definite descriptions being the ones that have connotation and conceptually sort of represent the individuals that they pick out. But proper names for Mill are different. He thinks that proper names have no connotation. The name Scott does not characterize the man, Sir Walter Scott, as being some way or other. It just designates, and that's it. And so Mill gives an example that actually he takes to be somewhat of a difficulty for his view, and maybe we can talk about this more, but think about the city of Dartmouth. It's called Dartmouth, or at least it was originally named Dartmouth, because the city is situated at the mouth of the Dart River. That seems like a connotation. It seems like the name has some sort of extra meaning, at least initially. But you shouldn't think that way, and Mill gives this example in order to explain this way. So imagine the Dart River changes course. Well, if the Dart River changes course, then where the mouth of the river will change as well, and plausibly the mouth of the river may not end up being near the city of Dartmouth, but that doesn't mean that we're going to change the name of the city, right? The name of the city stays the same. There's just the name is used as a sort of tag more than anything else. Hopefully this is at least relatively clear to you guys, and I hope that you have more questions about this in class. See you then.